live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. And as we had earlier promised, we are talking about President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy projects and talking about the Big Four agenda. How far has he come? And will he be able to achieve all the promises that he gave to Kenyans at the end of his term? Well, today we are joined with Mr. Mark Bichachi, who is a communications strategist, and also Bonke Omai, who is a development consultant, just to shed some light on this. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mark Bichachi, for joining us, and Bonke. Well, I will start off by just rating where the president is at. So I'll ask you, in a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the performance of President Uhuru Kenyatta? We'll start with you, Mr. Mark.
I'll give him a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10. Now, Mr. Bonke?
I'll give him 5%.
5.
Yes.
5%?
That is
5 out of 10 or 5%?
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Okay.
All
right. Okay, Mr. Bichachi, you've said a 7.5 out of 10, and that is above average. May I please know from your explanation, why 7.5?
Well, because if you look beyond the rhetoric, if you look, for example, at the infrastructure and see how many kilometers of road have been built now versus the much touted Kibaki era, you notice that during this regime, we've built more roads. But if you also look at the numbers, the GDP numbers, ease of doing business numbers, and I'll give you an example. We've grown from a 44 billion economy in 2013 to a $100 billion economy to this date. If you look at the number of people who've been lifted out of poverty in the millions, if you look at the different indicators of the country's development, you see we're doing pretty well. Now, a lot of the time, these numbers are subsumed by our own, as a people, we don't see what the government is doing. A lot of the time, I make the joke that a lot of the time a Kenyan will be sitting on a new road and then say the government is doing absolutely nothing. And then, of course, there's the international track record. We just recently signed the British agreement for trade with Kenya. The Africa Free Trade Area has been effected as well this January. So in terms of opening up opportunities for this country, that's also a big bonus. Also, let's remember, this is the president who implemented devolution. I just landed back from Mandera, and I can tell you, it's not the Mandera it was but 10 years ago. So there's a lot of change. There's just, I think, a lot of negativity among the people.
All right, I like your clarification very much. But let's hear from Mr. Bonke. You said a 5 out of 10. And that's average. Why the average, Mark?
Well, President Uhuru Kenyatta, well, the reason as to why I'm giving him 5%, it's because of him bringing Raila on board, and now they have a handshake. So that 5% is for peace. It's not for the economy, like what Bichachi is saying. Enjoying in this country is peace, but without money. Yes, we have peace. There is no mandamanos in Kenya, and people are living hungry. I don't understand. I've heard my brother Bichachi saying that the businesses are thriving. But I
said the ease of doing business, my friend. Ease of doing
Yes, Mr. Bonke, carry on.
The environment is not conducive. That's one. And two, there is no money in circulation. The roads Mr. Bichachi is talking about, yes, they are being built, but it's like a cost to us. If you look at the loans which are building, I mean, Kenyans are filling the loans in their pockets. If you look at this SGR from Nairobi to Naivasha, the other day, the government, we are now starting repaying that loan. And where is the money? Now we are doing an express road on Mombasa Road. We don't know how we are going to pay it. And at the same time, our economy, the banks cannot loan people today. I am a businessman, and I can assure you the real estate is suffering, and you know real estate is the backbone of economy. So when it comes to economy and the circulation of cash, as far as the Jubilee regime is concerned, I can assure you President Uhuru Kenyatta has not done much. And people are, that is the reality. We cannot sugarcoat.
Yeah.
People are, we have Kenyans who have lost jobs. Even before Corona, our economy was suffering even Corona came. So we don't want to discuss Corona, but the reality is that Jubilee government came into power. Kenyans had a lot of expectations in 2013 up to 2017. The 8 stadiums they promised, none has been built apart from the other one in Kisumu, which they're building right now, which does not even match the standard of the 3D concept they shown us when they were on their manifesto. So in view, the 5% is for peace.
The 5% is for peace. And Mr. Bichachi is saying he's giving the president and the Jubilee government a 7.5. Now, guys, we've just talked about infrastructure. Kidogo tumeguzia manufacturing kidogo. But the Big Four agenda cuts across. This is just a segment of it. And remember, this is actually the legacy projects of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Let's talk about universal health coverage. Let's talk about food security. Bichachi, where are we at when it comes to that?
Let me just start here. Number one, when I gave my 7.5%, I backed up my facts with statistics.
Yes.
It is undisputable that our economy has grown from 44 billion to 100 billion. To say that there are people sleeping hungry and therefore the government has not worked is not, it's sensational, it excites people, but it's not a scientific method of measuring growth. This is what I mean. The United States has people who are dying of hunger today. The United States has homeless people. It is still the greatest economy in the world. Let us discuss the issue that bedevils Kenya is called wealth inequality. That is the biggest issue that bedevils Kenya. And what has the Jubilee government done? Despite my good friend saying nothing, let's talk about the cash transfers to the elderly. Let's talk about Kazi kwa Vijana. Let's talk about all these programs that the government is doing. And I would sincerely like to have a debate where we are basing our arguments based on facts and statistics and not rumors and innuendo. And let's remember one thing. In any economy at any given time, there are businesses that are thriving, there are businesses that are collapsing. When you tell me that the real estate is dying, and if you go into Upper Hill, go to any part of this country, you will see skyscrapers being built to date. So it is not, don't take, it's the same way people said that all the hotels are shutting down because one hotel in Westlands was shut down to renovate. We need to give the people of Kenya an accurate report. Even when we say that we don't have money to pay our loans completely. When has Kenya defaulted on a loan? We pay our loans every month. When have we defaulted? So yes, we have a debt issue, but let's not throw it out of proportion. We are not at the level where Argentina was. Now, to the Big Four agenda. On the Big Four agenda, the president has a lot of issues to deal with. Let's look at number one, the issue of food security. Food security is something that Galana Kulalu, the corruption and the report that the Israeli gave to us were horrible reports. And what was bedeviling that particular report? Corruption. But there's a hope. Where is the hope? In places like Kinangop and places where there used to be a surplus of production, now the fact that we are building better roads has meant, by the way, that there is greater evacuation of the food, because our production in this country is actually pretty high. But the issue has been that we've got too many middlemen, and evacuation of our produce from these areas has been a problem. So food security, we give him 50% for working on the infrastructure that is necessary. Let's look at Nyuki, the railway line. It's helping evacuate food and things like that. But the other 50% in terms of the technology, in terms of the experiment that was being done in Galana Kulalu, he's failed on that. Let's look at universal healthcare. Universal healthcare, again, I would give him 50%. What is 50%? Because of two things. Number
50
one,
50 on food, and now we're on universal healthcare. It's 50.
And I'm being specific about the Big Four agenda so that everyone understands where I am. Because why I'm giving a 50% universal healthcare is, let's look at it. We've expanded the number of beds that we have. We've expanded our ICU capacity. Today, as we speak, we are building close to 17 dispensaries and facilities in our slum areas within Nairobi. We are looking at we just concluded the project for making sure that we did the pilot for 3 counties in terms of universal health care. We've just completed the NHIF restructuring to make sure our doctors get better protection. But at the same time, it's 3 years now. We've not seen universal healthcare rolled out. We don't seem to have a solid plan behind it, and that's why I'm giving it a 50%.
Okay. Okay, just give me a minute. Let's hear from Bonke. I don't know, Mr. Bichachi says we are at 50%. Do you agree with that? And maybe what are the other projects that the president has achieved? Because we cannot say that it's all null and void.
Well, based on my understanding, I understand Bichachi is defending the government, which is okay. But the truth of the other day, you remember the PS of Agriculture acknowledged that the project that they had for planting maize, there was corruption within the Ministry of Agriculture, and he acknowledged that there were officials who are involved into that matter. And so far, the government of Kenya has not shown Kenyans how far they've gone with the investigations, and none of those who stole that money has been taken to court and charged. Now, remember the Kwamarer, those 2 dams in the Rift Valley, whereby the contractor actually removed the machines from the site. Why? Because of corruption. And this money is being stolen by Kenyans and the officials within the said institution. Now, when you ask, this money is being controlled by the government, you ask yourself, like, where are these people who are stealing the public money? And which jail are they staying at the moment? Or which court were they taken to? So when Bichachi is supporting by rushing, giving, is so generous with this percentage, giving marks, but we need to have facts with us. We have got corruption issues which has not been investigated properly. And when the Jubilee had that, that concept of, working on the food security, that's why dams were being built. That's why they were seeking for funds for the dams. When these dams, they were approved by the financiers who are financing the government, then our local guys decided to steal the money. And right now, there is no dam which has been built by the Jubilee Party. So
okay. Mr. Bichachi is burning up. I don't know why, but let's give Bonke a chance to finish, Bichachi.
What you're saying, sir, is a fallacy. It is a fallacy. Have you been to the dams in central Kenya that are being built?
Okay.
I could have interjected, but I decided to keep quiet.
Mr. Bonke, carry on.
The judge knows that the government of Jubilee has not identified who stole the Komarel Dams Fund. And
so what you're trying to say, Mr. Bonke, is that these cases have been there, the corruption cases that have been unsolved. This is what couples up to build the Uhuru legacy.
This is what has killed Uhuru Kenyatta's the Big Four agenda. And when we talk about the infrastructure, look at how people who are living in shanty areas are living. And even the houses which are being built by the government. The other day I saw the government giving the military first priority to occupy the houses. But was that the agenda? These houses were for any Kenyan who is capable and can manage to afford by paying some small amount of money, so that the private developers can be regulated. Because government noticed that there are some developers in this country who are building houses and now charging Kenyans quite exorbitantly. Now, for them, Kenyans, you can decide either to go government way in the same age, or you go for a private developer. But these houses are not there, you know? How people live in Kibra, look at Madare area, look at even the Kenyans who are the other day were evacuated in Kariubangi somewhere. and they were asking the government, where are we going with this corona? So when we are talking about the big four, the government has not focused on the big four. As we speak, what the government is focusing on is BBI, not the big four at all. And President Uhuru Kenyatta will finish his time in the office as the President of the Republic without conceptualizing the big four agenda.
All right. Let me just hold.
Just before you ask your question, I would like to correct, and this is why I keep saying, let's talk facts. When you're saying there is no dam being built in this country, I will give you the name of the dam. Go to your Google Maps, look at the places I'm saying, and tell me whether there's a dam or not. It is easy to come on media and blanketly say nothing is being done without shame, and then try to shame us for defending our nation. I'm not defending the government. I'm defending the people and the Republic of Kenya who deserve to be treated with dignity and truth. So let me give you examples.
The name of the dam.
The dam being done, Twake Dam in Makueni and Kitui counties, Itare Dam in Nakuru, Karimenu Dam in Gatundu, Thiba Dam in Kirinyaga, Muronyi Sway Dam in West Pokot, and a 1.2 billion dam in Nyeri. Now, these are facts. It is easy to come and say Kimwarer and Aror have not been investigated, but yet we know there is a former CS and a PS today in court facing the brunt of the law. So listen, I do not want to depress my people, and let me tell them the truth. The truth of the matter is this, that your country is in no way, and I beg my co-panelists to show me evidence that the dams I've mentioned are not being built. He can't. And the reason,
Mr. Bonke has a response to that. Mr. Bonke.
And the reason, go ahead.
Yes. Well, this is a breaking news to us, and actually, I think even our host knows the dams you are giving us today. This is a news, Bichachi. This is a breaking news. I voted market the dam properly. You can't.
Let me tell you.
Gentlemen. I think we need to move forward with this. Now, let's just move forward when it comes to the dams, because I know this is a discussion that will not end today. I want us to look at it logically. We have about 19 months, and I'm talking about 12 months this year and about 7 months for next year until the general election of 2022. Mr. Bichachi, I'll ask you. It's a yes or no. Do you think the president will be able to achieve all the for the Big Four agenda by 2022?
Of course not. Of course not.
Okay.
He'll be able to do a percentage of it, but he won't be able to do all of it.
All right.
That's because of a lot of factors. But I'd like to say one thing. Before I came on this show, I did a little thing called research. We need to do the same before we come to shows.
I'll leave it at that. Mr. Bonke, do you think he will achieve the Big Four agenda?
Well, I started my sentiment when I started this show that Big Four cannot be actualized. And now at the end of this discussion, the church is also agreeing with us again, with me to be precise, that it cannot actualize the Big Four agenda. Yeah, so right now we have 12 months for President Uhuru Kenyatta to retire. And the truth of the matter is that the government is currently focusing on BBI, and that is what they are focusing on. And the issue of the Big Four, that is a dead story, like Okoa Kenya thing.
Okay, you talked about the BBI, and I want to hear from you, Bichachi. The BBI right now is like the top, it's the Jubilee baby. What really we're carrying forward, and the president is on the forefront in actually trying to actualize the BBI and the referendum thing. Now, do you think this is a diversion for the president?
Let's start here. Number one, when I say he will not achieve everything on the Big Four agenda, I do not mean it to be actualized. Let's look at the semantics correctly. You see, had a target of 500,000 houses. Okay, there is a court case that is holding the funding of that particular project. What does that mean? That we will not be able to meet the 500,000 target. But at the same time, have we implemented the Kenya Remortgage Finance Company? Yes, we have. Have we actualized the infrastructure and the policies needed to do universal housing? Yes, we have. So it's a mixed bag. So we cannot say that when I say it will not be complete, I'm saying the same thing as it will not be actualized. And that ties to my answer concerning the BBI.
Yes.
We act as if we do not know that the government can walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. We want to act as though Uhuru Kenyatta is the most infantile president possible. And if he's doing the big four agenda, the BBI, nothing else is happening. This is nonsensical. It is simple political rhetoric. Let me ask a question. People have said that let's not do BBI, let's focus on the fight on COVID.
Yes.
Now, my question is, did the CS of health and the PS of health stop doing their job to go do BBI? When we were discussing our trade agreement with the UK, did the Minister of Trade deliver less because there is BBI? We must understand that government is a going concern. It is not something as though we imagine that it is a child sitting down doing their mathematics homework, and if the cartoons are on, the child can't do their homework. You know, it is easy political narrative to say that let us do nothing else and focus on just a few things. Let me put it in perspective. I happen to sit on a board of this government, and that board, that agency received funds. We are a marketing agency. We received funds to do our activities during COVID. So you want to tell me that we should stop? This is the same kind of reason that Kenyans were so angry when we sent flowers to the UK during COVID, and we said, oh my goodness, what a waste of time. Yet today, how many flower farms are still afloat because of that gesture? To this year during COVID, this financial year, we've increased our exports out of this country of flowers, of horticulture. So when we say the economy is collapsing because of BPI, at the same time, our tea, our horticulture, our different products received greater demand during a COVID period. These are statistics not from government, they are from the World Bank. And these are the things that we must focus about. The government can chew gum and walk and talk at the same time. It will not trip over it.
I want to know, Mr. Bonke, do you agree with what Mr. Bichachi is saying, that as much as there has been challenges, it's doing something?
No, Bichachi is currently doing marketing for the government, which is okay. You know, question. When we are talking about, we want Bichachi is telling us to believe and trust that the government can run BBI and COVID at the same time. I mean, it's a big lie.
Yes.
We know what has happened during this corona. The same government is in one of the boards. There was a problem at KEMSA. We lost billions of shillings during corona, and no one is talking about it. Then two, how many young doctors have we lost during this corona period? Young professionals. And actually, corona made us to know how these people are so frustrated. They just have names and papers, but they don't live honorably like professionals. If he can talk like this is the same Bichachi when we were campaigning for Jubilee in 2017. He's doing in 2017, but he should know that the government of Kenya has failed us, and that is the truth.
Okay.
You know?
From the look of things, we are not in the same page. Mr. Bichachi is saying...
Give him time.
Sorry?
We've lost... You gave Bichachi time, actually like 3 minutes. We've lost doctors. And doctors were threatening the government for to resign.
Yes.
The other day, I saw Joho sacking doctors. And Joho is not even a professional. So I don't know if he has an audacity to sack a doctor. I mean, what is he trying to do? We don't have doctors in this country. That's why we are even importing doctors. We have to come and help our doctors locally. Now, the issue of health is a big threat. Right now, the government is not talking of those who are died of HIV/AIDS. No one is of cancer patients. No one is talking of malaria patients. How many do you think we are losing each and every day? So before we focus, yes, BBI, we need reform in this country.
Yes.
I am not missing BBI thing, but the most urgent thing as we speak globally is coronavirus.
Okay.
This corona has also exposed, the government of Kenya on what is happening. You can imagine Kenyans who does not have, the insurance. I know Bichati is about NHIF. We process, go to Kenyatta Hospital right now. You can stay for 1 day before any doctor, attend to you. So before we focus on this BBI thing, yes, we should balance.
Yeah.
BBI can go on as they keep social distance, but at the same time, we should make sure that we have proper medication. Our people are well taken care of. And the care must also be brought to book. And we can see that the president is working. And when he's talking about flowers and all that, maybe, I don't know if the government nowadays does flowers. Those are private farms. And we don't own private flower farms in this country, so we don't want to get into that.
Okay. Okay. There's some people who've actually responded to our discussion.
National
Mr.
issues.
Bonke, yes?
We cannot come here to embrace a personal business, a business of an individual.
Okay.
We are here.
Okay, gentlemen, I want us to look at some of the responses that people have sent in. And this is someone, this is Judy, anasema maneno ya dams is breaking news. And then we also have mtu mwingine, Shiron Dihutu, you're saying, what is the speaker's name? Remember, we are having Mr. Mark Bichachi, who is a communication strategist, and also Mr. Bonke Omwai, a development consultant. If you're just joining us, that is our panel today. And then Timowa Uba, you're saying the Big Four agenda was a good dream for the president, only that the implementation has been so much poor, plus corruption at the highest level. That is the one thing that has actually you're saying that is the one thing that has delayed this agenda from being achieved. Shiro, you're saying, I like the positive side of Mr. Bichachi. Mwengine anasema, all right. Hello, Family Media. Universal healthcare coverage is below average. Most Kenyans do not have access to medical services, especially no drugs in the health facility, and one has to spend so much to access health services. Although the government has been a goodwill, we need to acknowledge that corruption has derailed the intended goodwill. Cost of living has subsequently gone up because of the heavy taxation. The rich-poor gap has also widened, and the cost of living is another story. That is it. And gentlemen, I want us to end this discussion in a couple of minutes, but let's talk about the debt, the public debt that we have as a government. Right now we're standing at about 7.12 trillion. Look at it this way, and Bichachi, please help us on this. When President Uhuru Kenyatta came into power, we were below 2 trillion. And right now, we are at 7.12 trillion. Do you think this is going to carry on, or rather have a negative effect in the next government? Mr. Bichachi, can you hear us? Bonke, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Okay. Please help us answer that question. Do you think the debt that has accumulated in this government will have a negative effect in the next government?
Yes, if you look at the difference between 2017 up to 2021, the difference is 5.12 trillion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the government is still borrowing. Kibaki left the economy when the debt we had was 2 trillion.
2 trillion, yeah.
It has gone up to 7.12 trillion. Now the difference there is 5.12. Now if you look at 5.12, and anytime we have a problem in this country, we must seek for funds, and we keep on borrowing. I mean, the next president will have a very difficult time, and if we don't come up with a strategy on how we are going to refund these funds, we still have a problem for the next 20 years from today. So this is a strategy. I've not heard anything. I mean, I've not heard anything from the president telling us on how is going to manage the issue of the debt we have in this country. And the other day we had the issue with Corona. We call for loans. Right now we are doing projects here and loans. And even next year, even before the end of this year, BBI is here. We need billions to run it. Election is coming next year. We still need money for that. The referendum, the campaigns are going. So we are in a big mess. That's why I said the problem we have in this country is not about coming up with the BBI or changing the constitution. No, our systems are working. And this is the reality. This is something we need to accept. If we conceptualize whatever we are discussing in our boardrooms, we can really actualize the boardroom meetings. Then, or we can actually stay on TVs, then we can really have a beautiful country. Our systems are not working. And even the Jubilee government is coming to an end by next year. But the next president will get it so rough as far as the economy of this country is concerned. And when Bichachi was saying that his projects are coming up in Upper Hill, he should know that none of those projects belong to the government. These are Chinese who are in this country and robbing our country without any structure. I am telling you, I am in building and construction. I'm running a real estate company.
Okay.
These people in this country, they are taking our lands, they are building properties. They don't even need Kenyans to be even their salespeople. They just need police to be at the gate. Kenyan people are just laborers. They are not even professionals. Architects are coming from China. Engineers are coming from China. They only need a surveyor here just to identify for them if this is an illegitimate land. Then after that, they are done with you. They are saying they are coming with technology. They believe we are not professionals enough to run the projects. So all those tall buildings Buchachi is seeing, they are owned by Chinese who are well connected in the government.
Okay.
But ordinary Kenyans who have some small amount of money to develop, they have no space.
Okay.
If they take projects for approvals because of political networks, they cannot get. So even real estate in Kenya has been taken over by the same Chinese who we owe a lot of money.
The market. Okay, thank you so much, Bonke. I want to hear from you, Bichachi. And from your face, I can tell, like, okay, usichoke sana. I just need to hear from you. So what will be President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy, according to you, Mr. Bichachi? In just 2 sentences, what will be President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy?
Can I correct the fact that it is plain wrong to say that every building being built in Upper Hill is by the Chinese? Yani, honestly, let me say this. If Kenya is broken like a clock, it must at least be right twice a day. I know despair sells. I know that Miguna has set the trail for being negative in this country and seeing nothing positive about your country. But we are even on a Christian station. As in, surely, even God asked, behold, I do a new thing. Do you not perceive it? Will you hate your country to that level?
I don't think it's hate per se. I don't think it's hate per se. But gentlemen, we are really out of time. So let's just go straight to the point. What is President Uhuru's legacy? Mr. Bichachi, then to you, Mr. Bonke.
President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy will be this.
Just
a minute, Mr. Bonke.
We cannot be like pastors. Meguna has his own democratic right to express his views.
Okay.
As you, we cannot play here. We are only
okay, Mr. Bonke. All right, just give us a minute, Mr. Bonke. Let's wind up this discussion. We really need to do it.
You said I have copied this character of being negative from Meguna. That is so wrong.
No.
That is not professional.
Okay.
Meguna is an advocate who is very learned than any other person around.
All right. All right, thank you so much for that. We've really clarified on that. And please do not force me to shut down the microphone because we really need to end this. So, but Bichachi, in 2 sentences, and then I'll come back to you, Mr. Bonke. Mr. Bichachi, in 2 sentences, kindly let it be 2. What will be President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy according to you?
Number one, it will be the BBI and bringing the changes that he wants to bring through BBI. And number two, it will be the laying the groundwork for a lot of the infrastructure and the policies that will make Kenya develop much quicker in the next government.
Thank you so much. Mr. Bonke, now over to you. What will be President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy, according to Mr. Bonke?
Well, we are requesting the president to hand over the country to the right person as the next president of the Republic of Kenya. If BBI can give us the best president, a president who can unite the whole Kenya, we will really appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, and thank you for shedding that light on the Big Four agenda and what really is the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I know a lot of Kenyans have a lot to say about this, but I really appreciate that you came through for us today. Have a good evening. Well, there we have it. We have been hosting Mr. Mark Bichachi, who is a communication strategist, and also Mr. Bonke Omwai, who is a development consultant. And from the look of things, the president is going home with divided views on what his legacy has been about. Maybe I should also ask you, and we will review some of these responses that we are having tomorrow during the show, because today clearly we are out of time, but I want to hear from you. What is the president's legacy as he exits office in just less than 19 months? What do you think his legacy will be, according to you?
More of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.